Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Usman Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna and welcome to all the devotees online. Thank you very much for your kind association and presence as we continue to associate with Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 12, verses 1 to 20, creation of the Kumaras and others. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatha Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Mitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sarva Shastra Piyusha Sarva Vedeka Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaya Tridbrada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kalidando Adidatitya Shri Krishna Parivartita Ushmad Bhagavatam O nectar churn from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas O you enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions O you grant spiritual vision to all people of the world. O life breath of the Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You are actually Lord Krishna who has returned amongst us. Paramananda Pataya Prema Vashasharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namastute. O Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer respectful obeisance unto you. By reading you one attains transcendental bliss, for your syllabus reign pure love God upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone, for you are incarnation of Lord Krishna. Madekabando Matsangem Madgoro Man Mahadana Man Nishtraka Madbhagya Madananda Namastute. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisance unto you. Sadhu sadhu tadaina tini chochatara kahanamun chakada chinmam premna ritkatayospura. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O give us saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplift to the very fallen. Please do not ever leave me. Please become manifest in my heart and my throat, accompany pure love of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya Yotonvaya Taratas Charte Swabhigna Swarat Tene Brahma Hidayadi Kave Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatrati Sargom Mrsha Damna Swena Sada Nirastakokam Satyam Param Dhimai. O my Lord Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O pervading personality of Godhead, offer my respectful obeisance unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because of the absolute truth and the primary cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, destructions of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion as one is bewildered by illusory representation of water seen in fire, land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from an illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Prainalpai Shasabhya Kalabasmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upadrata. O learned one, in this age of Kalimene, but short lies or quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Narayana Namaskritya Narachevam Naratamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Toje Mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Savaipum saparo dharmo yato bhaktira doxaje ahitukiya pratiyata yayatma suprasiddhati. The supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service. Loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jana Yatu Savai Ragyam Gyanam Chaya Dahitukam. By rendering devotional service unto the person of God, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causes knowledge and detachment from the world. Vedanti tattva vidas tattvam yach gnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. Learn a transcendentalist, know the absolute truth, call this non-dual substance, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Shru Shrushosha Danasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatseva Vyapru Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punya Tirthani Shevanat. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. Shranvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sharavana Kirtana Ryadantastoya Badrani Vidunoti Suritsatam. Shri Krishna, the personal Godhead, who is Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor, truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees, develop the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtues and properly heard and chanted. Nasta prashu badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatu tamaslokya bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. By regular attendance in the class on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the person of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Vyam Sordhanmam Parinishtaya Janmalabha Param Pumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by the perfect discharge of occupational duties. Remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarita vrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desires, without any material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, based on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Hare Krishna and welcome again. Let us cover any feedback from last week's chapter, conclusion that we covered. If there's anything that caught your attention, that you remembered, please share. And then we will proceed to today's session. Emavati and Nalini Kanta says, madness of human society, live merrily, unafraid of impending death. If Brahma is afraid of death, what to speak of us? We are dying every second and should use our time in devotional service, not take human birth lightly. Many people think about death, to, consider its material temporary, and we have this very pessimistic view of life. But it's not pessimistic. Yes, if we only keep focusing on problems and issues and challenges and death and all these different negative aspects, like our newspapers and all our TV episodes, it's focusing only on the negative. That is pessimistic. We have a healthy form of pessimism, meaning we look at the reality of life. So we are very optimistic because we have Krishna consciousness. Tell me in the chat. Please answer honestly. Are you happy that you started practicing Krishna consciousness? Or let me put it this way. How happy are you that you started Krishna consciousness? How happy are you that Krishna consciousness came into your life, the process, the practice, the devotees, Srila Prabhupada, his books? Please share in the chat. Are you happy and how happy? What? Or like, I don't know. So, Emavati and Nalini Kanda says, very, very happy. Les says, extremely, wouldn't change it no matter what. Anyone else? Because sometimes it's important that we recalibrate ourselves, right? Unless, hey, wait, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. I need to check, So Shamananda says, happy but still to get serious. Yes, seriously happy. You need to become seriously happy. Let's get one more. What is your view of Krishna consciousness in your life? Big mistake. Okay. Not going well. Very good. Happy. Because if we don't ask these questions, then we basically practicing something that we could not, either we're not completely convinced of, or we need to remove our doubts. But when we keep analyzing, when we keep reflecting, when we keep reviewing, this is how the journey improves in any field. It could be in business, it could be in relationships, it could be in any field. We need to keep reviewing and analyzing to see, am I on the right path and am I moving towards the objective, towards the goal? So, I can't speak for the rest of you because I don't have your feedback, but at least for Hemavati, Radhika, Nalini Kanta, Madhalesh, Shamananda, they're happy, which means that they have an alternative that is very wonderful. And that alternative is why we're optimistic about life. Prabhupada has given us a perfect alternative to be in this world and be happy, at the same time understand the reality that is facing us, especially that of death. So we are not so much afraid of death, but we do not neglect death. That means we know that death is going to come, and I need to be prepared. I should be preparing. Yes, I'm not ready. I still got a long way to go, but I'm preparing. That is important. The materialists don't even bother about death. They wouldn't even talk about it. The entire duration of Brahma's life is a quarter of a second for Mahavishnu. So how insignificant are we? Srila Prabhupada reduced the pass mark and make it easy chanting and dancing. It becomes difficult depending on association. Stronger in Krishna consciousness, less suffering impact on the consciousness. So the process is wonderful, and the process has been made even more simpler, and the pass mark has been reduced. What else? What more do we want? What more do we want? And even at that, at that point of the process made simple, the pass mark reduced, it's a blissful process, still we find the lack of commitment, the lack of dedication, the lack of sincerity, the lack of practice. Why? Because of our deep conditioning. It's not your fault. It's just the way the conditioning is. At the same time, it is our fault because it is we who created the conditioning. Now we need to uncondition ourselves. And that can only be done with those who are on the same journey. We are all on this journey, holding hands and trying to move in the direction of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. So that is why you'll see Prabhupada was so expert. He knew what is required for us to progress. You cannot practice spiritual life on your own. Prabhupada said it is hallucination. It is dreaming in the Krishna book. Prabhupada said, if you think that you can practice Krishna consciousness outside a society, you are hallucinating. That is why Prabhupada gave his books as first and foremost. Why? Because his books are giving us that association. Just consider, here we are, miles away. Difficult because of timing and so many other things and venue, location, but we are able to come together and associate online. Not the best, but at least it's workable. In fact, when we started the Bhagavatam, we were going to Lens Temple every weekend. Same time. And broadcasting live from there. So the key is we must reflect regularly. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said every Ekadasi, today's Ekadasi, we're reflecting. Every Ekadasi, we need to do this exercise. We need to reflect. What am I doing? Check my bearings. Am I okay? Am I doing the right thing? And if I'm doing the right thing, am I progressing? Am I going forward? Or am I stuck? Sukharkam avyayam. If you're practicing Krishna consciousness and you are not blissful, not just sukham, not just happy, susukham, very happy, very blissful. If you're not in that state while you're practicing Krishna consciousness, get help. Open your heart to someone that can help. Don't just put a facade. When you come in front of devotees, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. When you come home, it's like, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. That's not Krishna consciousness. Krishna doesn't like that. You have a headache when you come home. And when you're out at the temple, it's like you have the headache, but you don't make it, you don't show it. No. We need to be serious. Don't waste this opportunity. Security, the Lord designed. No one can escape this creation. We are imprisoned. And we can get out by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we heard how this universe has walls. And we're going to cover those walls in detail. Fourth canto, we'll hear how the yogis, they try on their own strength to penetrate these walls. Not an easy task. And we don't try to penetrate the walls. We just surrender to the owner. Ishwara Parama Krishna. We just surrender to Ishwara, the control of all controllers. Once you surrender to him, the gates open. Express elevator. We don't even go through the universe. You just express elevator. Energize. Spock, energize. So Star Trek, it just goes. You energize back to the spiritual world. Just like that. If you surrender. Just on this point of surrender, I was sharing with one devotee. I listened to his audio by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. Maharaj was making this point. Somebody dies in the family. And we question, why did Krishna take him now? And Maharaj was making the point that that question of why did Krishna take him now is a question that reflects lack of surrender. It is a question that reflects you still want to be the controller. Krishna is Ishwar. He's the Supreme Lord. He can do whatever he wants. So when you ask, why did Krishna take him? Krishna should not take him. Krishna should not take her. You are questioning Krishna. That means you are thinking you the master and Krishna is the servant. Very deep point. When we question what happens to us as to why it's unfair, it simply means we do not trust Krishna. We have not surrendered. We must keep that in mind. Reflect on this point. It could be anything that comes our way. If we have surrendered, okay, let me step back. Because someone will say, well, yeah, Prabhu, I'm lucky. I haven't surrendered to Krishna. Agree. You may not have 100% surrendered to Krishna, but if that is our objective, to surrender to Krishna, then we need to always remind ourselves of the psyche, the mindset that is required to cultivate full surrender. So going forward in our life, when something happens, things will happen. Life happens. Life always happens. When things happen, reflect and see, am I questioning Krishna? Why this is happening? It's unfair. If we are, pause. Tell Krishna, I'm sorry I question you. It's just my stubbornness, thinking I'm the controller. But actually, what you did is perfect. I may not understand. I may rebel. I may think it's unfair. But that is just because of my stupidity, my lack of surrender, my ignorance. Please forgive me. And even though I am reluctant to accept that whatever is coming in my life is the best for me, because you are in control, because you know best. Please excuse my stubbornness. Please help me. Please purify me. Please allow me to surrender completely so that I will never question what you bring in my life. And even if I question, I will never forsake your shelter. Because we're not robots. We have emotions. And Krishna understands. All right, Mother Lesa, Hare Krishna, but we are trapped in prison, layers upon layers of covering. It is, however, possible to get out, surrender to Krishna. It's the only way out permanently. Yes. Ivan says, being a devotee is a privilege that enables you to become content within the dualities in the material world. Yes. Because you are living in the world of duality, good and bad, happiness and distress, winter and summer, hot and cold. This is the world of duality. And because there's a world of duality, we need to stay consistent. So Krishna consciousness allows us to stay consistent. Bhavana says, at times the blissful state feels like you are mad, behaving way happier with oneself and others, no matter who they are or wherever you meet. Laughter with strangers, of course, cautiously, because of spontaneity of the bliss. Bhavana is moving way away. Bhavana, very good, yes. When you experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness, can start becoming contagious. Ivan says, maybe instead of happiness, we should focus on surrendering to the Lord. Yes, that is true. But if you're not getting the taste, if you're not joyfully or happily practicing Krishna consciousness, it becomes very difficult to surrender. You will only take to the austerity of surrender when you're getting some satisfaction, some happiness, some joy, some experience. That motivates the surrender even more. Let me give you another example. Say you were told to go to the forest, no prasadam, you just eat dry leaves, no family contact, no mobile phone, no Facebook, no social media, no internet. Go to the Himalayas, sit and chant Om. Any takers? Definitely not me. Why? It's way too austere. I mean, just consider, it's like I need 2 jackets. Imagine going to the forest without any jackets. It's like, hey, no, not for me. No prasad. Ekadasi prasad. I need some Ekadasi prasad. Please, some chips now today, please. No, thank you. I ain't going to the forest. You can pay me. I ain't going to the forest. Like I'm talking now, right? Not for me. I mean, there's no question of happiness. There's no question of I'll be traumatized. Just the animals will traumatize me. The environment will traumatize me. It's not for me. But Krishna consciousness, yes, I'm happily doing it. I like to do it. So that happiness is not coming from the material plane, it's coming from a higher plane. Prabhupada explains chanting Hare Krishna is beyond the sensuous, beyond the mental, beyond the intellectual. It's coming from the spiritual stratum. That spiritual happiness is coming and giving you a taste. That taste drives you. If you look at even in the process of the 9 stages of perfection, or 9 stages in the process of sadhana and bhava bhakti, right up to faith, from faith right up to prema, you will see that the aspect of ruchi, taste, happiness, bliss, is increasing. It's there. Relief from distress, it's there. So that, not that we should only focus on happiness and focus on surrender, but you can't separate it. The more you are happy, the more you'll surrender. The more you surrender, the more you will become happy. Right. Thank you for everyone's feedback. Let us proceed. So, creation of the Kumaras and others. We're going to try, let's see how we go with the verses. So, we're going to now hear about Brahma's creation, different aspects of creation, from creation of from ignorance to the Kumaras to Rudra. So now understand where we are. Brahma appeared in this world, in this creation. He meditated, he got Krishna's blessings, Krishna's mercy. He's seen Krishna. He was blessed by Krishna. He was empowered by Krishna. He started performing his devotional service. And now we're going to see he's going to start his service. Please understand, he is specifically empowered Krishna blessed him. He also prayed that, my Lord, please, I pray that I get protected from the service. I don't deviate. I don't become proud. I don't become puffed up. I don't get deviated. Krishna blessed him. If you stay fixed in devotional service, you will be protected. So we also, praying for empowerment, we also want to engage in devotional service. We also want to start our service. So Brahma is starting his service. Let's see what he encounters, what happens in his journey. Just like in our journey, what may happen, what will happen. So let us hear from the Bhagavatam, text 1. Maitra Vacha iti te varnitash shattam kalakya paramatmana mahima veda garbhotam yatha yatakshra yatakshin nibodame. Sri Maitra said, O learned Vidura, so far I have explained to you the glories of the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his feature of Kala. Now you can hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge. Text 2. Shashar Jagre Nadatas Tamishram Atatamishram Adikrit Mahamoham Chamoham Cha Tas Tamas Chagnana Vritaya. Brahma first created the nations, engagements like self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership, and the illusory bodily conception of forgetfulness of one's real identity. So Brahma is creating the first aspects of his creation. Apparently doesn't seem to be like something glorious. Seems to be like, hold on, the programming hasn't been right here. What is all this self-deception, sense of death, anger after frustration, sense of false ownership, and illusory bodily conception of forgetfulness of one's real identity? This looks like a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul is interested in self-deception, cheating people, deceiving people, pretending to be something. They're scared of death. They don't even speak about it. That's how scared they are. Sense of death. They know time is ticking. They know deep behind. They're scared of death. Anger after frustration. They become frustrated. Then they become angry. They claim proprietorship of things they create in this world. They're attached to their body, and they're forgetful of their own real true identity. Interesting. Prabhupada writes in the purport, before the factual creation of the living entities in different varieties of species, the conditions under which a living entity in the material world has to live were created by Brahma. So this was the first aspect of creation. You asked to be here? Okay. If the living entities need to be in this material world, well, they need to be covered. They need to have the suitable conditioning to stay in this material world, to be controllers, false proprietors. So that's the conditioning that is first created. Unless a living entity forgets his real identity, it is impossible for him to live in the material conditions of life. Therefore, the first conditions of material existence is forgetfulness of one's real identity. And by forgetting one's real identity, one is sure to be afraid of death. although a pure living soul is deathless and birthless. Now, let's remember this point. If we are afraid of death, or to the degree you are afraid of death, to that degree you are attached to the false conception of I am this body. To the degree you are afraid of death, to that degree you are attached to this body. To the degree that you will not be afraid of death implies your true identity is getting revealed. You are realizing your true identity. When you are completely self-realized, death means nothing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, first Krishna tells Arjuna, Dehinosminata dehe komaram yovanam jaratata dehantara papti dhiras tatra namoyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, a soul similarly passes in another body at time of death. Then Krishna tells Arjuna that you should also be very, very tolerant. Tam titikshas bharata. Matra spashas tukuntaya shitosna sukadukadaha. So you should be very tolerant. When you realize your true identity, you'll be so tolerant that you will be tolerant even of death. To the extent that the experience of death doesn't even require to be tolerated. Because you are realize that I am deathless, and if I'm deathless, then death means nothing. It means death is basically transition into another destination. And because I'm self-realized, I'm not taking another body. If Krishna wants, I will, no problem. So your level of perception is beyond this material worlds. Prabhupada then continues. This false identification with material nature is the cause of false ownership of things which are offered by the arrangement of superior control. All material resources are offered to the living entity for his peaceful living and for discharge of the duties of self-realization in conditional life. So Krishna has made arrangements to provide everything we need if we align to his laws, and we will be provided everything we need to practice Krishna consciousness to become self-realized. But due to false identification, the conditioned soul becomes entrapped by the sense of false ownership of the property of the Supreme Lord. It is evident from this verse that Brahma himself is a creation of the Supreme Lord, and the 5 kinds of nations which condition the living entities in material existence are the creation of Brahma. It is simply ludicrous to think that the living entity to be equal with the Supreme Being when one can understand that the conditioned souls are under the influence of Brahma's magic wand. Patanjali also accepts that there are 5 kinds of nations as mentioned here in 3. Drishtva pape yasim shrishtim natmananam bhavan manyata bhagavadhyana putena manus manasanyam tatoshrajat. Seeing such a misleading creation as a sinful task, Brahma did not feel much pleasure in his activity, and therefore he purified himself by meditating on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation. So it seems when Brahma started his creation, there was some malfunction. He didn't like it. It's like what came out here is not. I don't like this. So when we also may engage in our service and things may not work out how we initially planned, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There may be discrepancies. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There may be faults. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We should learn from Lord Brahma. He saw, this is not good creation. I don't like this. Naturally, it's Krishna's arrangement, because without these 5 layers of ignorance, no living entity can survive in the material world. They need to be conditioned, because that is the desire. Krishna is creating the facility for the desires of the living entities. It's not haphazard. It's not by chance. There is intellectual design, very conscious intellectual design. So Brahma, when he saw his initial creation, he didn't like what he created. So he did not feel so much happiness from this activity. Note, we were talking about happiness. Brahma is engaged in the service of the Lord. He wasn't happy with what he created, even though it was Krishna's arrangement. And therefore he began to reflect, what should I do? And what did he do? He engaged more in the process of surrender. So when we are not happy with something, let us surrender more. Let us chant more. Let us take to Krishna consciousness more seriously as a purifying process. It's the same principle of repentance. I don't like it and I need to do something about it. Well, what's the best thing you could do is surrender more. What's the practical sign of surrender? Chanting Hare Krishna. So Brahma meditated on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and purified himself. Because when you think of Krishna, then you get purified. And then he began another term of creation. Although he created the different influence of nations, Lord Brahma was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. But he had to do it because most of the conditioned souls wanted it to be so. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15 that he is present in everyone's heart and is helping everyone to either remember or forget him. The question may be raised why the Lord, who is merciful, who is all merciful, helps one to remember and another to forget. Actually, his mercy is not exhibited in partiality towards one and enmity towards another. The living entity, as part and parcel of the Lord, is partially independent because he partially possesses all the qualities of the Lord. Anyone who has some independence may sometimes misuse it due to ignorance. When the living entity prefers to misuse his independence and glide down towards nations, the all-merciful Lord first of all tries to protect him from the trap. But when the living entity persists to gliding down to hell, the Lord helps him to forget his real position. The Lord helps the fallen living entity glide down to the lowest point, just to give him the chance to see if he is happy by misusing his independence. Looks like we're back to this word of happiness. In today's, it wasn't by arrangement. So, just see. Why is Krishna creating the 5 levels of ignorance first through the agency of Lord Brahma? Is because we desired so. And Prabhupada said, Krishna warns us, don't go there, you won't be happy. No, I insist. Okay, there you are. Now you are here. Now, under that ignorance, we will glide down further and further and further and further And that gliding down further and further gives us the opportunity to gain realizations. And what is the realization? The realization is that I am not happy. And if I'm moving in this direction that is leading me to become more, it is leading me to become less and less and less happy, and I'm realizing I'm not happy, then I start to question. And if I'm fortunate to meet self-realized souls, they will direct me. Why am I frustrated? Just like you standing at a reservoir of water, and on the bank of that reservoir of water, there is a mango tree. And the mangoes are reflected in the water. And you come happily, not noticing the big tree for some reason, because you are covered. And you look in the reflection and you see the mango, and you are hungry. You jump for that mango. And you try to grab that mango, and there's no substance in that mango. You can see the color, you can see the mango, it's real. But there is no substance. As soon as you grab it, it disappears. It's not there even in the first place. And you keep grabbing because you see it, but you don't know, and you're trying and you're trying and trying until someone comes and says, "What are you doing?" "I want to enjoy the mangoes." "Sorry, not there. Look up here. Here's the mango tree. That's where the real mangoes are." So when the pure devotees come and guide us to say, what are you looking for? You want to be happy? Well, wrong. Good, you want to be happy, but wrong place. To be happy is not a sin. I will repeat. To be happy is not a sin. It is your rightful inheritance. Lord Krishna is Ananda Abhyasat. You are part and parcel of Krishna. Prabhupada is making the point. Why are you partially independent? Because Krishna is fully independent. You are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, you're partially independent. And because you misuse that independence, you are here. Similarly, Krishna is Ananda Bhaya He is full of pleasure seeking. He's full of bliss. We are part and parcel. We are also full of bliss in the small fractional percentage as part and parcel. So by nature, we are blissful. Therefore, to be happy is normal. It's natural. And that's what we can use to see what resonates with the soul. Nothing of this material nature will resonate with the soul and make you happy. Why? Because it is of a different nature. One is material and the other is spiritual. So therefore, only spiritual practice, only spiritual association, only those things connected with Krishna will give you that experience that you're seeking for. And Krishna's made the arrangements that the living entities in this material world glide further and further down if they don't have proper guidance until they get the realization, I am searching for the right thing in the wrong place. I need to change my direction. Look up. The mango is there. Almost all the conditioned souls who are rotting in the material world are misusing their independence. And therefore, 5 kinds of nitions are imposed upon them. As an obedient servitor of the Lord, Brahma creates all these as a matter of necessity, but he is not happy in doing so, because a devotee of the Lord naturally does not like to see anyone falling down from his real position. Persons who do not care for the path of realization get the full facilities from the Lord for executing their proclivities to the fullest extent. and Brahma helps them in that procedure without fail. So Brahma doesn't like it, at the same time he has to do it. Sometimes you have to do certain things that nobody else wants to do. It's part of the service, especially in leadership roles. So here Brahma has to do something which he doesn't like, but it's part of his portfolio. He has to do it. And there's a genuine need. There's a genuine reason. It is Krishna's compassion. 4. Sanakam cha sanandan cha sanatanam atad mabu sanat kumaram cha munim nishkriyan urdva retasha. In the beginning, Brahma created the 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar. All of them were unwilling to adopt materialistic activities because they were highly elevated due to their semens flowing upwards. So after Brahma created the 5 nations first, then he meditated on the Supreme Lord, and now he created the 4 first sons, the 4 Kumaras. They were so elevated. Their semen was flowing upwards and not down. And because they were so elevated, even they were not, or even Brahma was not happy with the second level of creation. We're going to hear why. Prabhupada in the purport says, although Brahma created the principles of omniscience as a matter of necessity for those living entities who were destined to ignorance by the will of the Lord, he was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. He therefore created the 4 principles of knowledge. Sankhya, or empiric philosophy for analytical study of material conditions. Yoga, or mysticism for liberation of the pure soul from material bondage. Vairagya, the acceptance of complete detachment from material enjoyment in life to elevate oneself to the highest spiritual understanding. And tapas, or the various kinds of voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. Brahma created the 4 great sages, Sanaka, Sanandan, Sanatana, and Sanat, to entrust them with these 4 principles of spiritual advancement. And they inaugurated their own spiritual party or sampradaya known as the Kumara Sampradaya, or later on as the Nimbarka Sampradaya, for the development of bhakti. All of these great sages became great devotees, for without devotional service to the personality of Godhead, one cannot achieve success in any activity of spiritual value. So now Brahma created the 4 Kumaras and the 4 sections of knowledge, principles of knowledge that they would head up. Sankhya, Yoga, Vairagya, and Tapa. This was for elevating souls. So the first was binding them and conditioning them. The second level of creation was for elevation. Both is available. 5. Tan babashe swabut putran prajashrit jata putraka tanne chan mokshadharmano vasudeva parayana. Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation, and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. So the 4 Kumaras, they were spiritually elevated. And in the previous verse, we had one reason is because the semen was flowing upwards. We're not going to go into the whole discussion of seminal fluid. Seminal fluid is very, very powerful. All your food, digestion, all the energy that's required to create different parts of your body to create seminal fluid requires the most amount of energy. And seminal fluid is most powerful when retained. And yogis generally, they with the Kundali Shakti and seminal fluid, they move it to the top of the head. So one type of process. The more one retains one's semen, the more powerful one becomes spiritually also. Brain power, memory, tejas, strength, vitality. The more one loses seminal fluid, then that is losing a lot of power, energy from the body. So therefore, in spiritual life, brahmacharya is recommended, both for brahmacharis, grihastas, and sannyasis. They all perform brahmacharya, retaining seminal fluid. As grihastas, we would use it responsibly for procreation only. And the rest of the time, it's retained. So a very important practice. Now, Lord Brahma asked these 4 sons to procreate, and they were unwilling because they didn't want to get messed up with the material creation. They could understand the material creation, and they refused. Purport. The 4 sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, declined to become family men even on the request of their great father Brahma. Those who are serious about gaining release from material bondage should not be entangled in false relationship or family bondage. People may ask the 4 Kumaras, people may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the order of Brahma, who was their father and above all the creator of the universe. The reply is that one who is Vasudeva Parayana or seriously engaged in devotional service of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, need not care for any other obligation. It is enjoined in Bhagavatam 11.5.41. Devarsi Bhuttapta Nirnam Pitranam Nakan Kinkaro Nayam Ranicharajan Sarvatmana Ya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kirtam Kartam. Anyone who has completely given up all worldly relationships and has taken absolute shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who gives us salvation and who alone is fit to be taken shelter of, is no longer a debtor or a servant of anyone, including the demigods, or forefathers, sages, other living entities, relatives, and members of human society. Thus, there was nothing wrong in the acts of the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. This principle is important, at the same time cannot be abused. Implication, I neglect my duties and say, no, because I'm a devotee, I don't need to do this. No, no, no. For one who has completely surrendered, note, anyone who has completely given up all worldly relationships and has taken absolute shelter of the lotus feet. Note the adjectives. Anyone who has completely, not whimsically, not partially, not fractionally, completely given up all worldly relations, has taken absolute shelter, not teeny-weeny reflective, absolute shelter. They don't need to worry. Their debts are paid off. So as aspiring devotees, we should not abuse this verse. I can neglect my parents because I'm a devotee, I'm going to the temple. We should be very careful. So I remember when I decided to join the temple, this was nagging me. What about my responsibilities? Lucky I have other brothers who were able to take shelter of, who were able to protect and do the responsible duties of maintaining parents, and etc. So that way it was Krishna's blessings. But I always was thinking about this point. So I remember clearly asking His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, this was in Yeovil time, 85, 86, during that time. And I asked him this question that, when one becomes a devotee, the family members generally say you've been irresponsible. Like I would go to the temple practically like five days a week eventually. It was like once a week and then twice a week and then 3 times a week and then 5 times a week. And I would eat prasad, on a prasad at the temple. Then I come home, I'm full. I tell my mother I'm full. You'll get upset. Why are you not eating my food, etc. So this question about being irresponsible. So one day I asked Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, this about, aren't we being irresponsible? So he gave a beautiful example. I remember even today. He said, consider family of pigs, mother pig, father pig, and 2 piglets. And the family is moving up this pathway to on top a mountain, on the mountain, and on top of the mountain there's a slaughterhouse. And on both sides there's fence. So now this family is moving happily to the slaughterhouse. Parents are moving, children, 2 piglets are moving up to the slaughterhouse. And the 2 piglets look at each other and they say, let's go. So they duck under the fence and they escape. And the parents look at each other and say, just see how irresponsible our kids are in today's world. So Mahat said, don't you think the piglets did the right thing to escape from the slaughterhouse? So everybody's going to the slaughterhouse and thinking that's responsibility. Real responsibility means surrendering to Krishna. And yes, in some cases, we would love our family members, friends, colleagues to all also be devotees. But in most cases, that may not be the case. And at least in my case, the motivation was, if I can practice nicely and sincerely, at least by my practice, they can get the benefit also. So in this way, we should understand there is responsibility, but at the same time, surrendering to Krishna is the greatest responsibility we have for ourselves and for others. So the 4 Kumaras said, nope, we're not interested in getting tangled. We're happy. That's why you see the 4 Kumaras, they stayed young by the mystic powers. They didn't want to grow up and get entangled. Because as you grow up, your toys change. First, everything, food. Anamaya, as a child, as a baby. Then you grow up, now toys. You want your toys. Then the toys just change from toy car to real car. So you just evolve with different sense objects. It's the nature of the material world. So the 4 Kumaras did not want to get entangled. 6. So vadyata suter evam pratyakshya tanu shatne krodam durvishaham jatam niyantum upachakrame. On the refusal of the sons to obey the order of their father, there was much anger generated in the mind of Brahma, which he tried to control and not express. Brahma is the first created being. His request was refused. When his request was refused, what happened? He became angry. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter describes this process. Dhyayate abhishe pumsa sangasteshu bhajayate. When you look at sense objects and you want to enjoy and you cannot get that desire fulfilled. So when lust develops and that lust is not fulfilled, anger arises. From karma, krodha arises. So Brahma, he asked the four Kumaras, please create. This is my duty. I need somebody to create. Help me create, populate this universe. Please create progeny. They said, no, we're not interested. Brahma became upset. And he tried to control it. Now, anger is very dangerous. Anger arises from the mode of tamagun. Creation arises from the mode of passion. Maintenance arises from the mode of goodness. When you're in mode of goodness, you can maintain. In a mode of passion, you can create. In a mode of ignorance, you're destructive. So anger is in a mode of destruction. That means whenever you become angry, it will always lead to a more destructive interaction. Brahma tried to control that. When you try to keep anger inside and do not have a proper outlet system, like a pressure cooker, it can explode. So this is what happened. Prabhupada in the purport says, Brahma is the director in charge of the mode of passion of material nature. Therefore, it was natural for him to become angry on the refusal of his sons to obey his order. Although the Kumaras were right in such an act of refusal, Brahma, being absorbed in the mode of passion, could not check his passionate anger. He did not express it, however, because he knew that his sons were far enlightened in spiritual advancement, and thus he should not express his anger before them. 7. Diya nigraya manopi Bruvo Madhyat Prajapate Sadyo Jayata Tanman Yu Kumaro Nilalohita. Although he tried to curb his anger, it came out from between his eyebrows, and a child mixed blue and red was immediately generated. So Brahma couldn't maintain his anger, and that anger came out through the middle of his forehead, eyebrow, between his eyebrow, and a child was born. Anyone know who the child is? Rudra. So this is how Rudra appears in this world. The face of anger is the same whether exhibited due to ignorance or knowledge. Although Brahma tried to curb his anger, he could not do so even though he is the supreme being. Such anger in its true color came from between the eyebrows of Brahma as Rudra, in a mixed color of blue, ignorance, and red, passion, because anger is a product of passion and ignorance. 8. Savai Ruruddo Devanam Purvajo Bhagavan Bhava Nan Mani Kuru Me Datta Stanani Cha Jagat Guru. After his birth, he began to cry, O destiny, maker, teacher of the universe, kindly designate my name and place. So because he was crying, he got the name Rudra, one who cries. Or Rudra also means, one who cries. And that's Ravana, means one who makes others cry. 9. Iti tasya vacha padmo Bhagavan paripalayan abhyahad badraya vacha ma rodistat karomite. The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, Do not cry. I shall certainly do as you desire. 10. Yad arodi surashreta sodvega iva balaka tatastvam abhi dasyanti namna rudra iti praja. Thereafter Brahma said, O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all people because you have so anxiously cried. 11. Rid indrayan Yasur Vyoma Vayur Agni Jalam Mahi Surya Chandra Stapas Chaiva Sta Nanyagre Kritanite. My dear boy, I've already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity. So these are all the places where Rudra was asked to reside. There were 10 Rudras that appeared, and they were given different places of residence according to Brahma. So Prabhupada in the purport describes the significance of these different places where Rudra resides. The creation of Rudra from between the eyebrows of Brahma as a result of his anger generated from the mode of passion, partly touched by ignorance, is very significant. In Bhagavad Gita 3.37, the principle of Rudra is described. Krodha, anger, is a product of karma, lust, which is the first result of the mode of passion. When lust and hankering are unsatisfied, the element of Krodha appears, which is the formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. When we become angry for anything, before reacting, press the pause button. So we need to ingrain in our consciousness, anger equals pause. Correct? Anger equals pause. Anger does not equal react. Anger equals pause. You press the pause button. Why do we need to press the pause button? Because we need to now press the pause button and then reflect. What do we reflect on? When lust and hankering are unsatisfied, the element of Krodha appears, which is the formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. So we press the pause button. Every time you get angry, some situation happens, you become angry. Some interaction is there, you become angry. Some scenario, situation, circumstance made you angry, press the pause button. Then think, am I getting angry because of some unfulfilled desire, lust, hankering? And is that unfulfilled desire conducive to Krishna consciousness or not? that will then direct you on how to proceed. We're not going to go into the direction, but that reflection is important. Because if you don't, you're basically giving birth to the most formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. And most people, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, when you become angry, you lose intelligence, become bewildered. And when you lose your intelligence, become bewildered, you can do and say anything. And then after that, you repent and it's too late. So before that, we need to keep in our mind, we need to keep in mind and ingrain it deeply in our consciousness and practice this principle. Whenever something triggers, and rest assured, there are triggers in this material world that will trigger you. They'll tramp your toes, they'll trigger certain circumstances, they'll trigger. As soon as it gets triggered and you sense that you're getting angry, press the pause button and reflect. And if you have to leave or chant Hare Krishna and do whatever you have to do, do it. Do not react do not react at that point. The most sinful and inimical passion is represented by ahankar, a false, egocentric attitude of thinking oneself to be all in all. So when you get angry, is this the underlying reason? You're not listening to me. I know it all. I'm the be and or end all, and I'm the be all and end all of everything. Why are you not following me? I want it my way. You have to listen to me. I am right. If you don't listen to me, this is all around this false ego and egocentric attitude of thinking oneself to be all in all. Such an egocentric attitude on the part of a conditioned soul who is completely under the control of material nature is described in Bhagavad Gita as foolish. The egocentric attitude is a manifestation of Rudra principle in the heart, where Krodha is generated. So the first aspect of the birth of Rudra is coming from your heart. That's why you react. That's why you get angry. Then this anger develops in the heart and is further manifested through various senses like eyes, hands, and legs. When people become angry, their eyes widen. You start. Some people really get they become very animated. When a man is angry, he expresses such anger with red, short eyes, sometimes make displaying of clenching of his fists and kicking his legs. This was Brahma's. Brahma told him, reside in the heart, reside in the senses. Now you know why your heart reacts. Now you know why your senses react when you get angry. Okay, let's move on. When a man is angry, he breathes very rapidly. He's angry. Why? Because Rudra was given reside in the air of life. So in your breathing. Then Prabhupada continues. In the air of life or in activity breathing. When the sky is overcast with dense clouds and roars in anger, and when the wind blows very fiercely, the Rudra principle is manifested. So when we see great thunderstorms, great winds that can blow away houses, like in Durban, different places we experience in America, fierce winds. This is the principle of anger coming through. Also, when the seawater is infiltrated by the wind, it appears in gloomy feature of Rudra. Tsunamis. This is Rudra principle manifesting, very destructive, which is very fearful to common man. So we can see wherever Rudra was asked to reside, those elements are infected by Rudra principle, when the egoistic attitude of the conditioned soul manifests, and they appear in these different elements. When fire is blazing, we can also experience the principle of Rudra. Fire can burn and everything to ashes. Blazing forest fire. When there is an inundation over the earth, we can understand that this is also the representation of Rudra. There are many earthly creatures who constantly represents the Rudra element. The snake, the tiger, the lion are always representatives of Rudra. Sometimes, because of extreme heat of the sun, there are cases of heart stroke, and due to the extreme coldness created by the moon, there are cases of collapse. There are many sages empowered with the influence of austerity, and many yogis, philosophers, and renouncers who sometimes exhibit their acquired power under the influence of the Rudra principle of anger and passion. The great yogi Durvasa, under the influence of this Rudra principle, picked a quarrel with Maharaj Ambrish, and a Brahmana boy exhibited Rudra principle by cursing the king, great king Parikshit. When the Rudra principle is exhibited by a person who are not engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the angry person falls down from the peak of his improved position. So if your anger is not spiritual, like Prabhupada would become angry to devotees when certain things was not right. Prabhupada's anger was very powerful. His body would, it's like spiritual anger. And many devotees, one devotee was saying, he's serving Srila Prabhupada, the devotee comes because there was some situation, Prabhupada becomes angry at that devotee, and this devotee is shaking, who's massaging. He's feeling the energy. And then that devotee leaves. Then another devotee comes, and Prabhupada is speaking to him like nothing happened. And this devotee was massaging, was feeling the anger of Prabhupada. He was noticing this complete shift in Prabhupada's mood. That at one moment Prabhupada was fiercely angry, and at the next moment Prabhupada was like nothing happened. Why? He could understand Prabhupada was not influenced by the mode of anger on the lower modes of passion and ignorance. Prabhupada's anger was actually spiritual, used in the service of Krishna to rectify. And one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, when you become angry, when the spiritual master, when you become angry, how should we feel? Prabhupada said, you be happy that somebody cares. So when a spiritual mentor becomes angry, then you should understand, in terms of, as a well-wisher, then that's beneficial, because now at least somebody cares. Otherwise, the mode of anger is very destructive. The angry person falls down from peak of improved position, always degrades. This is confirmed as follows. Yenye rakvindaksha vimuktamaninas tavyastabhavad avishuddha buddhaya arunya kricchena parampadam tata tantyado nadrita yas mud angraya. The most lamentable fall down of the impersonalist is due to his false and unreasonable claim of being one with the Supreme. 12. Manur mahi nasho manas mahas chiva ritadvaja ugrareta bhava kalo vama devo dritavrata. Lord Brahma said, my dear boy, Rudra, you have 11 other names. Manu, Manu, Mahi, Nasha, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadwaja, Ugreta, Bhava, Kala, Vama, Dev, and Dhritavarta. Manus, Mahi, Nasa, Mahan, Shiva, Ritadvaja, Ugareta, Pavakala, Vamadeva, Tritavrata, all names of Rudra. 13. Dirti Rasaloma cha Niyut Sarpir Ilambika Iravati Swada Diksha Rudranyo Rudate Striya. O Rudra, you also have 11 wives called Rudranis, and they are as follows: Drikti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, and Diksha. 14. Grihanaitani namani stanani cha yashona ebi shrija prajapavi prajanam asiyat pati. My dear boy, you can now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you are now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on large scale. So Brahma first created Nishans, or the 5 layers of ignorance. He wasn't happy. Then he created the 4 Kumaras, and he asked them to create, and they were not interested. So then Rudra appeared. The Rudras appeared, and they all got wives. And now Lord Brahma is telling the Rudras, you please create. Brahma, as the father of Rudra, selected the wives for his sons, his living places, and his names as well. It is natural that one should accept the wife selected by one's father just as a son accepts the name given by the father, or as he accepts the property offered by the father. That is a great cause in increasing the population of the world. On the other hand, the Kumaras did not accept the offering of their father because they were elevated far beyond the business of generating a great number of sons. As the son can refuse the order of the father for higher purposes, so the father can refuse to maintain his sons in increasing the population because of higher purposes. So for higher purposes, certain responsibilities can be accepted or rejected. 15. Ityadishta swagu runa bhagavani lalohita satvakrit swabhavena shashar jatma sama praja. The most powerful Rudra, whose bodily color was blue mixed with red, created many offsprings, exactly resembling him in feature, strength, and ferocious nature. So Brahma, Lord Shiva created, or rather Rudras, created many children. Rudranam, Rudra Shrishtanam, Samantad Grasatam Jagat, Nishamya Shantkya Sho Yutan, Prajapatir Shankata. The sons and grandsons generated by Rudra were unlimited in number. And when they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma, the father of living entities, saw this, he became afraid of the situation. So the Rudra principle is dangerous. When they created sons, that progeny started eating everything, started destroying the whole creation. They started devouring all the parts of creation that Brahma had created. Purport. The generation of Rudra, the incarnation of anger, was so dangerous to maintain the universal affair that even Brahma, the father of living entities, became afraid of them. The so-called devotees or followers of Rudra followers of Rudra are all a menace. They are sometimes dangerous even to Rudra himself. The descendants of Rudra sometimes make plans to kill Rudra by the grace of Rudra. That is the nature of his devotees. So the sons, the family, progeny, and even the descendants coming from Rudra have this underlining mentality that they even want to kill Rudra, because this is how the power of Rudra, power of anger, can override intelligence, that even your parents, even your source, you want to destroy. Mhm. We see, even in today's world, when people become angry, they will destroy even the facility that benefits them. It's like the intelligence get overridden. Mhm. They'll they'll riot, they'll boycott, they'll strike, they'll burn down and destroy this property that actually supports them or maintain them. Or even they won't even think, hold on, if I burn this place, I'll need to reconstruct it myself. Why am I going to waste my resource? Let's just maintain the place and try to resolve the issue. So here we see, even at the time of creation, Rudra's children, they went wild. And Brahma had to put a pause button. This is going out of control. Brahma's got a service, and there's a disruption in that service. He didn't say it's okay, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. No, 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 no. We're going to see how he reacts, because this is going against what I meant to be doing. But it's coming from me. I need to adjust. I need to look at the situation. 17. Alam prajabi shrishtabi idrikshibi shurotamam maya saha danantibi dikshas chakshurbir ulambane. Brahma told Rudra, "O best among the demigods, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with the fiery flames from the eyes, and they have even attacked me." 18. Tapa atishta padram te sarvabhuta sukhavaham tapaseva yatha purvam shrashta vishvam idam bhavan. My dear son, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, which will bring all benedictions upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. So Lord Brahma told Lord Shiva, the Rudras, go and perform penance, go in meditation. That will keep you engaged, keep you peaceful, because this type of creation of the Rudras is not going to help. In creation, maintenance, and dissolution, the cosmic manifestation, three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, or Shiva, are respectively in charge. Rudra was advised not to destroy while the period of creation and maintenance was going on, but to situate himself in penance and wait for the time of dissolution when his service would be called for. So we know at the time of destruction, when Anantashesh, from his eyes, flames come, then the Rudras appear, and the Rudras begin to then destroy the creation. So this is how, and they were born at the time of creation, but their service is really at the end of creation. 19. Tapasaiva param jyotir bhagavatam adokshajam sarva bhuta uhavasam as jasha vitade pumam. That should be agnasha vidate pumam. By penance only can one even approach the personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity and at the same time beyond the reach of the senses. Purport. Rudra was advised by Brahma to perform penance as an example to his sons and followers that penance is necessary for the attainment of the favor of the personality of Godhead. So in the word or in the Sanskrit, the first word is tapa shaiva param jyotir. Tapa, penance, austerity. Who can tell us what do you mean in simple English? What do you understand in simple English by tapa or penance, austerity? In simple English, what do you understand by tapa, austerity, penance? Tapa simply means refraining. All right, good. Any others? Meditation. Okay. Self-discipline. Good. To do something one normally wouldn't do, not very pleasing. Control and repentance. Introspection. Right. So tapa, austerity, Bafana says, or subjecting oneself to pain in order to achieve a higher goal. So there's a key word that you cannot forget in terms of penance, austerities. It is voluntary acceptance of an inconvenience or a higher goal. Involuntary acceptance is tapa. You're not forced. For example, is anyone holding a gun at your head and telling to chant Hare Krishna? No. That means if you chanting Hare Krishna, you are voluntarily accepting the austerity, the penance for a higher cause. That is tapa. And in this age, chanting Hare Krishna is the austerity. We have to again understand. Sometimes we ask ourselves, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but there's nothing serious happening. That's because you're not seriously chanting. That's because your austerity is not serious. It is child's play. Even if you chant 16 rounds, it's child's play. it's, not, it's not serious. Let's consider and we're going to read in the Bhagavatam when we come to Ravana's austerities, all the demons' austerities, Kamsa's austerities. If we look at all these great demons, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, I mean, if we just consider the austerities they went through, it's inconceivable. I mean, consider standing on your toe with your hands raised for thousands of years. Not taking a break, going for lunch break, bathroom break. No, you just standing there, day in, day out, raining, not raining, doesn't matter. How much determination, how much conviction, how much dedication they must have to be able to stand like that. If you're not convinced beyond doubt of your goal, you will not stand there. Tukuram was initiated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Maharashtra. So he had created, as he had compiled many wonderful songs glorifying the Lord. And long story, but the king, the Brahmanas didn't like that. And they caused the king to tell Tukuram to discard his I think they're called Abhangas, his songs, poems that he had composed in glorification of the Lord. So then he went, and it's interesting, Tukuram, he didn't become angry. He said, well, if this is what my Lord wants, then I'll need to do this. And if my Lord wants to give them back, then he'll give them back. So he went, reluctantly put all his songs in the river. And then he went and he sat under the tree, basically fasting, praying to the Lord to rescue the poems if he so desired. And it's mentioned that Tukuram fasted without water, without food, for 13 days. He was so fixed on his penance. Day 1, day 2, 13 days without food and water. That's the austerity. That's the determination that we require. It doesn't come with a flick of a switch, unfortunately. It has to be cultivated. But when I heard that, I was thinking, just see, we fast on one Nirjala Ekadasi and wow, it's tough. Next day, you're just waiting to have something. He fasted for 13 days. That's the penance that attracts Krishna. And all of a sudden, his Abhangas all came up, surfaced as untouched by the water. And that's how Tukuram became very famous and his songs became very famous. So we need to cultivate that type of dedication, commitment, seriousness. We need to pray for it intensely. We need to try to get it through association. And we need to try to remind ourselves that in this age, the penance that we have is chanting Hare Krishna. We really need to become serious. Somehow or other, we need to become serious about the practice of our spiritual life. We complain about small, insignificant things. When Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, and in 6 months, he got Krishna. He saw the Lord because of his Dridhavrita, his determination. We don't, we go late for a Sunday feast and there's no prasad and we get angry. We go for a festival and we stand in the queue and the kachoris are finished and we get angry. We like shake and get disturbed by such insignificant events. We really need to understand. Firstly, as I said, when you become angry, put a pause button and reflect. But when we understand that this is how Krishna is trying to intensify our penance, our austerities. Because keep in mind, somebody may say, why must I fast? Well, when death comes, or when you're going to get old and older and older, and you may be bedridden. And when you are bedridden, now you're going to be fasting. And if you haven't trained yourself, your mind is going to create havoc. So whatever little opportunity we get to voluntarily take on some inconvenience, do it blissfully, embrace it gratefully, because it's giving you the practice for things that's going to come in future. Rudra was advised by Brahma to perform penance as an example to his sons and followers that the penance necessary for the attainment of the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, he said that the common masses of people follow the path shown by an authority. Thus, Brahma, disgusted by Rudra's generation and afraid of being devoured by the increase of population, asked Rudra to stop producing such unwanted generation and take to penance for attaining the favor of the Supreme Lord. We find, therefore, in pictures that Rudra is always sitting in meditation for the attainment of the favor of the Lord. Indirectly, the sons and followers of Rudra advise to stop the business of annihilation, following the Rudra principle, while peaceful creation of Brahma is going on. 20. Tapaseva param jyotir bhagavantam adokshajam sarva bhuta guhavasam. Hold on. That's the same. Give me one sec. Just want to see, looks like we must verse 19. Okay, 18 is correct. 19. 19 is correct. Okay, 20 is not correct. And there is no port. Okay. So text 20, which is the final verse for today. Maitro vacha evam atma bhuvadishta parikramya giram patim vadamit yamum amantrya vesha tapasa venam. Sri Maitra said, thus Rudra, being ordered by Brahma, circumambulated his father, the master of the Vedas, addressing him with words of assent. He entered the forest to perform austere penances. And thus ends this chapter. Well, thus ends this section of the chapter where we are hearing about Brahma's initial creation. First created the layers of ignorance, and then the four Kumaras, and then the Rudras. And next week we'll continue hearing further aspects of Brahma's creation. Very instructive lessons for us as Brahma is rendering his service. And notice, his service is not perfect on day one. He's going through refinement, he's going through challenges, he's going through issues, but he is continuing his service. Antara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Go Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. Any questions or reflections? Fana, what is the relation between Rudra principle and the influence of kingship of time, especially with the experiences of separated episodes of anger, outbursts such as homicide? A man kills family or himself, or son kills grandmother, for the sasa, or simply cheating. All right, so according to our activities, we become influenced. That influence, that energy that's required for anger to manifest is under the supervision of Rudra. Let's look at it this way. All our bodily functions are under the supervision of different demigods. Our emotions, because they're energetic in nature, they're also under influence of different demigods. Different demigods have different energies that influence our behavior. Our behavior have different energetic imprints that attracts different people and different demigods. So anger in any form or shape is under the domain of Rudra. And Rudra manifests its impact or influence according to the places he was given in terms of residence. So it doesn't matter whether it's from Brahma's time of creation or through the maintenance of the universes and all its different periods, or even in today's world. Any manifestation of anger is under the influence of the principle of Rudra, but it is not the cause of Rudra. We should be very clear of that. It is not the cause of Rudra. It is your own doing. It's because of your desire and your actions and your emotions that you attract that principle to manifest. Just like if I try to be Krishna conscious, I attract Krishna's energy. If I chant the holy name, I attract Krishna's energy. Okay, so in every aspect, it doesn't matter on the external circumstances. It is the energy of Rudra, and that is why it can be very destructive. All right, Yashomananda posted that verse. Thank you. Bafana. At times, penance, I find them imposed, by causeless mercy, I would say, with challenges of difficulty encounters that really forces one to refrain and stop eating sumptuously, if not eating at all for months, or end up hunger just because somewhat food without which the consciousness is not the same. At time penance, I find them imposed scarce by causeless mercy. So in some cases, yes, just by your own karma, you're forced to take on challenges that you just have to accept. You can't do anything about it. And that's good. If you have the proper mindset and you just accept, that's why those who accept that past life existed and whatever I'm getting is due to my past karma, whatever comes, even though I don't voluntarily accept it, but because it's coming, I just accept it. And it benefits me in that way. Right? And that could be in any aspect, whether it's food, whether it's struggling in terms of simplicity, you don't have certain facilities, you met in an accident, now you don't have a car, it's so much inconvenient, now you have to travel with some people, or you have to take the bus or taxi and it becomes inconvenience. All these different experiences, they are there to make you grow. They are not happening to you, they're happening for you to grow. So that you can ultimately rise above the modes of material nature and return back to the shelter of Krishna. Nalina Canto, amazing class. Thank you, Prabhu. So wonderful to hear Bhagavatam on Ekadasi. Yes, thank you very much for that service of speaking. Shamananda, thanks from Maharaji, nice class. The pastimes of Kumaras rejecting Lord Brahma's proposal and how Rudra appears are very wonderful. Yes. Sometimes Lord Brahma, he tried to delegate his service as a leader. He's a manager. He's the creator of the universe. He decided to delegate. And the delegators, they didn't do a good job. They would refuse. So sometimes you may tell someone to do some service and they don't do it. Don't get upset. If they refuse Brahma, they'll refuse you. Brahma was refused, they'll refuse you. Just accept it. Okay, looks like for my purification. And you move on. And then you get others that will become angry, like Rudra principle. So if you have to take Brahma's, you can take Brahma's lessons as managerial lessons, right? Or even day-to-day life lessons. You have a certain service to do. You have a certain duty. In performing that duty, there will be aspects of negative energies that will manifest. There will be aspects of rejections, not acceptance. There'll be aspects of destructions. Next week we will hear there'll be aspects of progress. So it's not like the end of the world. We're going to see how Brahma is dealing. So if we have to consider these three scenarios, that Brahma is now ready for his service. He's excited. He just saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is so happy. He got the darshan of Krishna. He got the blessings of Krishna. He's ready for his service. He starts his service. Layers of ignorance. Oops. The four Kumaras rejected his proposal. Oops. He became angry. Rudra manifest. Okay, at least Rudra is there. Good. They got married. Great. They created sons. They started devouring animals. Oops. You would think, gee, man, 3 in a row. I might as well forget this. This is not working. No. He never gave up. Next week, we're going to hear how he manages the situation. Exactly how Brahma is managing his service. We should learn how to manage our service. They're very instructive lessons. Highlight of the day, Amavati, Nalini Kantam, Pafana. In the book Spiritual Warrior, Bhakti Tirtha Swami gives a nice application of anger. Rudra principle very elaborately. Would be nice to revisit reading. I enjoyed the lecture. Tough by Lord Brahma's duty. Not an easy one. Just wonder if he ever is happy at the same time he is objective of learning how to navigate situations we are placed in within the 5 coverings of conditional life. So our Brahma is very, very happy. He's Haridas Thakur, pure devotee of the Lord. So therefore, anything goes wrong, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he's very happy. He'll do his service and chant Hare Krishna, carry on. But yes, because he's doing certain services, and certain services, as Prabhupada says, a thankless task. And for the pleasure of the Lord, because they know it's for the pleasure of the Lord, they're willing to bear the austerity. Look at Srila Prabhupada's own life. It wasn't easy. Prabhupada describes he had to, in one conversation, Prabhupada said, yes, that dog. Yes, that dog. One time, Prabhupada had to sit next to a dog in a car. If we considered austerity, Prabhupada had to go through the seasickness, the heart attacks, no money, no shelter, being in the streets, being attacked, facilities stolen. I mean, on and on and on. Yet, not giving up. That is powerful. One setback after another and not giving up. That is required. In our own Krishna consciousness, that is required. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thanks for the interesting Krishna Katha. Are the 10 Rudras that were created 10 different personalities, or one person manifesting in 10 ways, similar to the modes of material nature, where it's one personality, but it seems like it's three? What is the right way to understand it? So it's described that there are 10 personalities, all manifesting from Rudra himself. That means just like Lord Krishna expanding himself in these different incarnations, they're all Krishna, they're all Vishnu Tattva, but they all have different personalities. So similarly, from the main Rudra, 10 Rudras manifest. They all expansions of Rudra, of Lord Shiva. They all have individual personalities. They're all Shiva Tattva, but they're all individual personalities. But the energy, the principle, the Tattva is Rudra. There's three Tattvas: Jiva Tattva, Rudra Tattva or Shiva Tattva, and Vishnu Tattva. So these three energies are distinctly different. A Jiva who's in Jiva Tattva, the energy of a Jiva, cannot be Shiva Tattva and cannot be Vishnu Tattva. Shiva Tattva cannot be Jiva Tattva and cannot be Vishnu Tattva. And Vishnu Tattva is the superiorest. So all incarnations, Krishna and all his expansions, they fall in the category of Vishnu Tattva. All energies related, all expansions related to Shiva, Shambhu, coming from Shambhu, who's a Vishnu expansion. Sadashiva. So Sadashiva is Vishnu expansion. From Sadashiva, Shambhu is expanded, the glance of Mahavishnu. From Shambhu, Rudras manifest, Shiva manifest, Rudra manifest, the 10 Rudras manifest. All the different pastimes and expansions of Lord Shiva. Because remember, Lord Shiva also performs many pastimes with Durga, with their devotees in this world. So every form of Lord Shiva's expansion, trying to remember, Virabhadra. Virabhadra is an expansion of Lord Shiva. Right? So all these different expansions of Lord Shiva, they're all Shiva Tattva. And then all the unlimited living entities, they're Jiva Tattva. So that's how you understand it. Bholenath, yes. All different Shivas, all different expansions. When the Lord takes an expansion or Shiva takes an expansion, they have a different name, a different personality, a different mood. They all, in Shiva's case, it's Shiva Tattva. In Vishnu's case, it's Vishnu Tattva. So that's how we accept it. But they're individuals. This is the power of the spiritual world. Everything is individual and everything is a personality, but within a certain category. Hope that explained that. Hare Krishna. Right, covered that. I love Lord Brahma. Prabhupada's penance so nicely explained his book, I Would Build You a Temple. Yes. Prabhupada made that promise. And no matter what challenges Prabhupada went to, Prabhupada said that was the greatest fight. The Juhu Temple project. All right. Thank you very much for everyone's feedback, reflections. We will end here and continue next week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Go Brahmanande Hari Hari Bo. Trolls are gone somewhere.